everyone, this is Wandering Tati. This time I would like to show you Valencia's Biopark. Join me as I walk through its 100,000 square meters, where you'll be able to learn about the animals, vegetation and landscapes of places like the equatorial forest, Madagascar, the Great Wetlands and the Savannah. The park is located at one of the endpoints of Turia Gardens. The place offers a variety of activities and it recreates the wild nature of the African continent, in which animals of different species coexist with each other just as they would in nature. Tickets are a bit expensive. The general individual ticket is €26.90 per person. When you buy a ticket, you will choose a day and a time of entrance. There's also parking available for €6 an hour, and you could park your vehicle there for up to 10 hours. Something that's been on my mind while making this video is the preservation of species and the way animals should be treated in zoos. All in all, I would say that the habitats created for animals at Biopark are really good. They are not in cages, and something I like is that sometimes you may not see the animals, which is what I prefer really. I like it whenever they are able to go somewhere else and rest, and if we get to see them, it's on their own terms. That being said, there was an incident with the male gorilla that made me a bit upset on his behalf. There's an event in which they feed certain animals at a given time of the day for people to see. The gorillas do have a nice open space, but this event takes place near a glass window in which people observing are in a closed environment. Perhaps this was an isolated example, because there happened to be a school field trip the day I visited Biopark. And the kids, and well, some of the grown-ups too really, were pretty loud. At some point, the male gorilla got annoyed and hit the glass repeatedly, and this happened on 2 separate occasions. The keepers did ask the kids to keep it quiet, which they did for like 2 seconds, but I don't think it was enough. Here you have some footage with the actual sound so that you can get an idea. I mean, this is the animal's home. If a person doesn't understand how they should behave in it, I think it's probably best to just ask them to leave that space. First, we have the savannah. The savanna has the highest concentration of large herbivores on the planet, and its extensive flatlands are the scene of long migrations in search of water and food linked to the passing of its 2 seasons, the dry and the wet season. An interesting species is the Moor gazelle. Due to overhunting, they were unfortunately extinct in the wild. Its existence today is due to the efforts of Professor Valverde, who in 1975 recovered and transferred 11 specimens from the old Spanish Sahara to the Saharan Fauna Rescue Center. Thanks to their descendants, to date there is a population of 300 specimens living in 10 European, 11 North American and 1 South African zoological institutions. So far, 5 reintroduction initiatives have been carried out in Morocco, Senegal and Tunisia. And here we have the mighty lions. In social groups, the females are in charge of looking for food and taking care of the young, while the males protect the herd. You know, the male's mane serves to protect their neck during battles or to protect them from thorny bushes. Did you know that they hunt by stalking? They stay about 30 meters away from their prey, in order to avoid spending excess energy compared to what they might get from the prey they are chasing. Here we have another interesting animal, the naked mole rat. It might remind you of Shinsekai Yori. If you haven't seen it, you should, although I wouldn't catalog it as an anime for beginners though. When digging the tunnels, the workers form a very efficient working line. The one in front digs in using their incisors, while the others pass the soil backwards, and then the last one is in charge of removing it to the surface. Their long incisors separate and move independently, and when a predator attacks the colony, all the workers unite, forming a wall with their incisors. Here we can see a common warthog. Yes, like Pumbaa. You know, they establish communication signals between them. When they are in danger, they run quickly with their tails up, and as a sign of affection, they rub their facial warts. Lovely. And if we see Pumbaa, then we should also see Timon, the meerkat. As a curiosity about them, the stripe pattern on their backs is unique to each meerkat, just like our fingerprints. And there we have the friendly giraffe and its crazy tongue. You know, they are sometimes a warning reference for other animals, as they have an overview of the territory because, well, they are up there. They can run in groups in advance of any danger, and so many animals will run at the same time since they know there might be predators. And here we have the elephants.
Oh, hi there, don't mind me, humans. Just here peeing a gallon of liquid.
You know, nature.
Okay, bye, humans.
And here we have Madagascar Island. The fauna and flora of this island in the Indian Ocean, separated from the African continent 160 million years ago, has evolved in isolation, so that 80% of its species are endemic, which means that they are only found in this part of the planet. Here we can observe the lovely ring-tailed lemurs, chilling in the trees and walking among people without a care in the world. What can I do to have the life of a lemur? My friend here is a black and white ruffed lemur, and they are unfortunately a critically endangered species, and have the second loudest call among primates. In case you're wondering, the loudest one corresponds to the howler monkey. Then we have the equatorial forest. The primary rainforests of equatorial Africa are home to a large number of different ecosystems and habitats, contrasting life in the tree canopy with the bustling activity that takes place on the forest floor.
Don't kid yourself, Jimmy. If a cow ever got the chance, he'd eat you and everyone you care about.
This is the western lowland gorilla. Gorillas are the largest primates living today. They are very smart, they learn very fast and use tools to get food. They live in very stable social groups, which are harems normally composed of 5 to 10 individuals. There's a male, females, and their offspring. Chimpanzees are capable of using different tools to achieve goals, such as the introduction of branches into termite mounds to remove the termites, or stones as hammers to break nuts. They are able to differentiate around 14 plants that are used as medicines for different illnesses. Now we have the African wetlands, the Cave of Kitoum. Kitum Cave is located in Mount Elgon National Park, Kenya. It is infamous as in the 1980s, 2 European visitors contracted the Marburg virus disease there. Legend says that these caves were dug by elephants for hundreds of thousands of years, using their tusks. The reality is that the Kitum Cave was formed by the volcanic activity of Mount Elgon between 8,000 and 12,000 years ago, and it has been enlarged by elephants and other animals digging in searching for mineral salts. The Nile crocodile helps maintain populations of predatory fish that could wipe out other small species on which the ecosystem depends. They also consume dead animals that could contaminate the waters. A curious fact about them is that their sex is determined by the temperature during the incubation period. If it is maintained in a range between 31.7 and 34.5 degrees Celsius, males are born. If it is lower or higher, females are born. And yes, they really just stayed in that position with their mouths open the entire time. You can see people moving in the background. They somehow look as if they have just told you a joke that they think it's really good and they are waiting for your reaction. But it wasn't so good actually. And here we have the common hippopotamus. You might not think so, but they are considered one of the most dangerous animals in Africa, despite its herbivorous diet. They are one of the animals that produce the most amount of human deaths in the continent. Here we are at the show that takes place in the amphitheater, where you will see plenty of different species of birds flying right next to the audience, and some land animals as well. I started investigating what conditions should be met in zoos, and for instance, I found this article regarding the European Union with 5 freedoms that should be met to ensure the animals' well-being. They should not suffer hunger or thirst, they should have absence of discomfort, not to suffer pain, injuries or diseases, they should have freedom to express their natural behavior, and they are not to suffer fear or distress. All in all, I would say that Biopark fulfills those. Just maybe the 5th one was not fulfilled in that particular instance I mentioned with the gorilla. I don't think the feeding events are really necessary though. If they cannot always guarantee that things like that will not happen, then it's probably best not to do them at all. I know that some people are opposed altogether to animals being deprived of their freedom and in a sense use them for people's entertainment. I for sure believe that zoos should fulfill mostly goals regarding research, education and preservation. They should definitely not take animals away from their environments or buy them from hunters. Other than the exchange of animals between zoos, they mentioned at Biopark that some wild animals are those confiscated by organizations that take them from collectors, hunters, or people who have them illegally as pets. Apparently, if a wild animal is in contact with humans for a long period of time, it loses the capacity to be reinserted in nature, as their survival instincts are affected. But of course, I'm not an expert on these topics, so if you know more about this, then I would love to learn more. And please let me know kindly in the comments, what is your opinion on zoos? Should they be forbidden altogether? Do you think they help preserve some species and might be necessary for animals that cannot return to the wild? Have you witnessed people being disrespectful of animals at a zoo visit as well? Do you think I should just give up on humanity as a whole and go live with the lemurs if they accept me as part of their group? So that is all for my video about Valencia's Biopark. I really hope you liked it. If you did, please hit the like button to let me know. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon if you would like to be notified whenever I upload a new video. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Until next time!